The greatest tragedy in life is not death, but a life lived without purpose. Look around you, men and women rise each morning, rushing to jobs they do not love, laboring in routines that neither inspire nor uplift them. They move like ships without rudders, tossed by the waves of circumstance, carried wherever the current of chance may take them. And then, years later, they wonder why they never reached the shores of success. The first key to success, the very foundation of achievement, is a definite purpose. Without it, no man or woman can accomplish anything beyond mediocrity. Purpose is the compass of life. It is the guiding star by which you chart your course. Without it, you wander. With it, you rise. Consider this truth: success never comes by accident. It is not the product of luck, nor of mere talent. It is born when an individual says with absolute clarity, "This is what I want. This is where I am going. This is who I will become." Once that decision is made, life begins to arrange itself around that purpose. The man with a definite purpose is like a warrior armed with a sharp sword, striking with precision. Every effort, every choice, every sacrifice moves him closer to his vision. But the drifter, the one without aim, wastes his energy on 1,000 unimportant things. He says yes to every distraction, chases every shiny object, and exhausts his strength on pursuits that do not matter. No wonder he fails, for he has never chosen a target. History shows us that the men and women who altered the course of humanity were not necessarily the most intelligent or the most gifted. They were the most determined. They knew exactly what they wanted, and they refused to let go until it was theirs. Their purpose burned so fiercely within them that it carried them through obstacles, ridicule, poverty, and even failure. That burning desire was their anchor, their shield, and their crown. Ask yourself, do I have a definite purpose? Not a vague wish, not a half-hearted dream, but a clear, specific aim that grips my heart with passion, because wishing is not purpose. Everyone wishes for wealth, happiness, and success, but a wish is a fleeting spark, purpose is an eternal flame. To discover your purpose, you must dare to look within. Ask yourself, what am I willing to give my life to? What goal would make me rise early, labor late, and sacrifice comforts? What vision fills me with fire when I imagine it accomplished? When you find that answer, you have found your purpose. And once you have it, write it down. Repeat it daily. Let it saturate your mind so completely that it becomes part of your very identity. Every decision, every habit, every friendship must align with it. Anything that does not serve your purpose must be cast aside. The man of purpose cannot afford to waste time, for he knows time wasted is life wasted. Do not fear that your purpose is too bold or too grand. Greatness has always been mocked by small minds. The world belongs not to those who conform, but to those who dare to live with intention. Remember this: the man who knows where he is going will always be the master of the man who drifts without direction. So I ask you, my friend, are you living with a clear, burning purpose, or are you drifting through life, hoping chance will deliver success into your hands? The choice is yours. Define your purpose, and success will begin to chase you as faithfully as a shadow follows its master. If there is one invisible chain that binds more men and women to mediocrity than any other, it is fear, fear of failure. It is fear that silences ambition, paralyzes action, and robs the soul of courage. Many live with dreams tucked quietly in their hearts, yet they never take the first step because fear whispers, "What if you fail? What if you lose? What if others laugh?" But let me tell you the truth. Failure is not the enemy. It is the greatest teacher you will ever have. The tragedy is not in failing, but in allowing fear to prevent you from trying. Look around at those who never succeed. You will find that most are not defeated by external forces. They are defeated by the battles they never fought. They surrendered before they began. They allowed the ghost of failure to haunt their minds until their dreams suffocated. Understand this: every great achievement in history was built on a mountain of failures. The inventor who gives light to the world, the leader who frees nations, the entrepreneur who creates empires, all have walked through the valley of defeat. They stumbled, they fell, they were ridiculed, they were doubted. But what separated them from the masses was simpler. They refused to let fear stop them. Failure, when embraced, becomes the chisel that shapes character. It teaches discipline, reveals weaknesses, and strengthens resolve. The man who has failed and risen again carries a power that no sheltered soul will ever know. For in the ashes of defeat lies the wisdom of experience, and in that wisdom, the seeds of ultimate triumph. Yet most people will never taste this strength. Why? Because fear persuades them to play small. Fear whispers, stay safe, stay comfortable, do not risk, do not dream too high. And so they build lives inside invisible prisons. They cling to security, mistaking survival for success. But security is an illusion. The man who avoids risk still suffers loss. The loss of potential, the loss of growth, the loss of a life that could have been extraordinary. There is no safety in stagnation. There is only regret. The cure for fear is action. Fear cannot survive when confronted. The moment you act, the moment you take a bold step forward, fear begins to lose its grip. Each small victory breeds confidence, and confidence, multiplied, destroys fear. Do not wait for courage to appear before you act. Courage is born in action. It is the decision to move forward despite trembling hands, despite racing thoughts, despite the possibility of defeat. That is true courage, not the absence of fear, but mastery over it. Ask yourself, what would I do if I were not afraid? What dream would I chase? What business would I start? What life would I live if fear had no voice in my mind? The answer to that question reveals the path to your destiny. Understand this eternal law: those who rise to greatness are not fearless. They are bold in spite of fear. They use failure as fuel, not as a grave. They fall, they learn, they rise, and they march again. So I ask you, my friend, will you allow fear of failure to dictate your destiny? Or will you step boldly into the unknown, risking defeat, but also claiming the possibility of triumph? Remembered failure is never final until you accept it. Fear is never powerful unless you obey it. The only true defeat in life is surrender. Choose courage, choose action. Choose to embrace failure as the doorway to success. For beyond fear lies freedom, and beyond failure lies victory. If there is a single quality that separates the successful from the defeated, it is discipline, and its twin brother, persistence. Without these two, even the brightest dreams collapse. With them, even the smallest seed can grow into a towering oak. Most people never succeed because they lack discipline. They want results without routine, rewards without sacrifice, victory without struggle. They begin projects with excitement, but abandon them at the first sign of difficulty. They let comfort steal their destiny, and in the end, they settle for mediocrity. But success does not come to the wishful. It comes to the disciplined. Discipline is the ability to command yourself, to act whether you feel like it or not. It is the daily habit of controlling your time, your energy, your thoughts, and your actions. Without discipline, desire remains a fantasy. With discipline, desire is forged into reality. Think of discipline as the bridge between goals and achievements. On one side stands your dream, on the other side lies its fulfillment. That bridge is built not in one day, but through repeated effort. Every morning you rise early, every distraction you resist, every sacrifice you endure, you lay another stone on that bridge. In time, it will carry you safely across. Yet discipline alone is not enough. You must also persist. Because no matter how disciplined you are, life will test you. Obstacles will arise. Plans will crumble. Doors will slam in your face. And here is where most people quit. They say, "Fit is not meant for me. I tried, and I failed." But the man of persistence does not retreat. He strikes again and again until the wall of resistance gives way. Persistence is the power of continuing when others stop. It is the determination that says, "I will keep going, no matter how many times I fall, no matter how long it takes, no matter how many people doubt me." It is the refusal to surrender. That spirit alone has built fortunes, launched empires, and created miracles. Consider this: the stonecutter may strike the rock 100 times without seeing a crack, but on the 101st blow, the rock splits in two, not because of that single strike, but because of all that came before it. Persistence is that repeated striking. Each effort may seem to yield nothing, but it is building unseen pressure until, suddenly, the breakthrough comes. Those who fail to persist never see the moment of victory. They quit on the 99th strike, just before the stone would have split. And then they say, "It was impossible." But it was not impossible. They were simply unwilling to persist long enough. Ask yourself, am I disciplined enough to stay true to my purpose every single day, even when the results are invisible? Am I persistent enough to keep pushing when nothing seems to work? If the answer is no, then your dreams will remain dreams. But if the answer is yes, if you can command yourself and endure, then no obstacle on earth can deny you. Discipline makes you consistent. Persistence makes you unstoppable. Together they make you inevitable. So, my friend, understand this law of life. Success belongs not to the cleverest, nor to the luckiest, but to the disciplined and the persistent. Talent without discipline is wasted. Ambition without persistence is barren. But ordinary men and women, armed with these two qualities, have achieved what the world calls extraordinary. Therefore, if you would succeed, master yourself first. Train your will. Command your habits. Persist when others surrender. For the crown of success is not awarded to the swift, but to the steadfast. Discipline and persistence, these are the twin pillars of greatness. Embrace them, and nothing can keep you from your destiny. Success begins in the mind. Every achievement is first a thought, every empire first a vision, every invention first an idea. But here lies the tragedy. Most people never succeed because their minds are poisoned with negativity. They carry thoughts of doubt, fear, envy, and complaint, and these thoughts silently sabotage every effort they make. A negative mental attitude is like a disease. It spreads quietly, infecting your outlook, your speech, your actions, and finally your results. The man who constantly says, "I cannot, I will fail, it is too difficult," has already sealed his fate. He does not need an enemy. He has become his own destroyer. Understand this truth: the world does not give you what you want, it reflects what you believe. If your mind is saturated with limitation, you will see obstacles everywhere. If you constantly expect failure, you will attract situations that confirm your belief. Negative thinking closes doors before you even knock on them. Consider how many people spend their lives complaining. They complain about their jobs, their government, their circumstances, their neighbors, even their families. Yet in all their complaining, they never realize the problem is not out there. It is inside. A negative attitude blinds them to opportunity. Where one man sees a challenge to conquer, the negative man sees a wall too high. Where one woman sees a lesson to learn, the negative woman sees a reason to quit. But here is the good news: the mind is like a garden. You can choose what to plant. If you sow weeds of doubt and fear, your harvest will be failure. If you sow seeds of faith, gratitude, and determination, your harvest will be success. The choice is yours. How do you cultivate a positive mental attitude? Begin with your words. Speak of possibilities, not limitations. Replace "I can't" with "I will." Replace "it's too hard" with "it may be hard, but it is possible." Words shape thoughts, and thoughts shape destiny. Next, guard the company you keep. Negativity is contagious. If you surround yourself with complainers and critics, you will become one of them. But if you surround yourself with dreamers and doers, their energy will lift you higher. Choose your environment with care, for it feeds your mind daily. Finally, practice gratitude. Nothing dissolves negativity faster than gratitude. When you focus on what you have instead of what you lack, your mind shifts from scarcity to abundance. And an abundant mind attracts more abundance, just as a negative mind attracts more misery. Ask yourself, what thoughts dominate my mind each day? Am I focusing on problems or possibilities? Am I speaking life into my dreams, or am I killing them with doubt? The honest answer to these questions will reveal why you succeed or why you fail. Never forget, success is not reserved for those who never face difficulty. It belongs to those who, when confronted with obstacles, choose to respond with faith, determination, and positivity. The positive thinker sees setbacks as stepping stones, failures as lessons, and difficulties as opportunities to grow stronger. The negative thinker, on the other hand, sees every challenge as confirmation that life is against him, and in believing so, he ensures his own defeat. The truth is simply your attitude is your compass. It determines whether you rise or fall, whether you win or lose. If your mind is negative, no amount of talent, opportunity, or resources can save you. But if your mind is positive, no obstacle can stop you. So, my friend, cast out every seed of doubt, every whisper of fear, every shadow of complaint. Replace them with faith, gratitude, and vision. For the man who carries a positive mental attitude becomes unstoppable. He turns defeat into victory, darkness into light, and dreams into reality. Choose wisely, for in your attitude lies the secret of your success, or the guarantee of your failure. No man rises to greatness alone. Behind every achievement, every empire, every success story, there is always a network of influence, mentors, allies, friends, and associates who shape the journey. Yet most people never succeed because they fail to understand the power of association. They surround themselves with the wrong people, and the wrong people quietly destroy their dreams. Your environment is stronger than your will. You may have ambition burning in your heart, but if you walk daily with those who mock ambition, that fire will eventually die. If you spend your time with people who have no vision, no discipline, no hunger, their mediocrity will pull you down to their level. Just as iron sharpens iron, mediocrity dulls mediocrity. Look closely at the habits of those around you, and you will see a reflection of your future. If your circle spends their evenings gossiping, complaining, and wasting time, do not deceive yourself. You will eventually mirror those habits. But if your circle speaks of ideas, plans, progress, and growth, your mind will expand, your standards will rise, and success will become inevitable. Why do most people remain trapped in failure? Because they are too afraid to leave behind the company of comfort. They cling to friendships that no longer serve their destiny, thinking loyalty to the past is more important than responsibility to the future. But hear this truth: you cannot walk with the blind and expect to see clearly. You cannot dine with the lazy and expect to grow disciplined. You cannot associate with the defeated and expect to win. Success demands that you choose your company with intention. Seek out those who have already walked the path you wish to follow. Learn from their mistakes, absorb their wisdom, and allow their example to elevate your standard. Surround yourself with men and women who challenge you, who hold you accountable, who believe in your vision even when you doubt yourself. And understand this association is not only about who you spend time with physically. In this age, your influences come through books, voices, screens, and conversations. If you constantly consume negativity, gossip, or empty entertainment, those voices become your silent companions, shaping your mind as surely as any friend would. Choose your influences as carefully as you choose your food, for what you consume will determine your health of body and of mind. Think of an eagle. It soars high, not in the company of pigeons, but alone or with other eagles. If you want to soar, you cannot remain in the flock of mediocrity. It will feel lonely at times. You may lose friends. You may be misunderstood. But understand, every step away from the wrong crowd is a step closer to your destiny. Ask yourself, who are the 5 people I spend the most time with? Do they inspire me to grow, or do they drain me? Do they encourage my dreams, or do they laugh at them? The answer to this question will tell you more about your future than any fortune teller ever could. If you desire success, you must be ruthless about your associations. Cut off what drags you down. Seek out those who lift you higher. Build a circle of visionaries, workers, and believers, and your own growth will be unstoppable. Remember, your destiny is shaped not only by your decisions, but by your associations. Walk with the wise, and you will become wise. Walk with the weak, and you will inherit their weakness. So, my friend, choose your company as carefully as a jeweler chooses diamonds. For the right people will polish your vision until it shines. The wrong people will bury it until it dies. Your circle is your mirror, and your mirror is your future. Choose wisely. My friends, we have uncovered the 5 reasons why most people never succeed. They drift through life without a definite purpose. They allow the fear of failure to chain them. They lack the discipline and persistence to keep moving forward. They poison their minds with a negative attitude, and they fail to choose the right people to walk beside them. These are the silent enemies of success, the invisible walls that keep the majority trapped in mediocrity. But here is the truth: you are not destined to remain among the majority. You were created with the power to rise above, to break through, to claim the life of greatness that lies within your reach. The choice, however, is yours. You can continue to drift, chained by fear, enslaved by weakness, defeated by negativity, and surrounded by mediocrity. Or you can choose to rise, to define your purpose, to confront your fears, to master yourself with discipline, to cultivate a positive mind, and to surround yourself with giants who lift you higher. Success is not reserved for the chosen few. It is reserved for the few who choose, those who choose purpose over drifting, courage over fear, persistence over surrender, faith over doubt, and wisdom in association over mediocrity in company. So I ask you today, with all the strength of conviction, will you remain as you are, or will you rise? Will you surrender to the excuses that hold most people back? Or will you step into the rare circle of those who dare to succeed? The power is already in your hands. The question is not whether you can succeed, but whether you will decide to. Rise up, take your place, claim your destiny, for greatness is waiting for the man or woman bold enough to say, "I will not fail because I will not quit."